Yeah. Well, if I could promise you that the more positive you are, the more thanks you'll get, would you believe me?
Certainly, yeah.
I think it's true, even if you can't get a grant for your heating system, and there are always going to be miserable people who will go away unhappy because their expectations are that they either should get it, or they've been told that they could get it. So, and one of the ways we can do that is using positive language. Now there's positive language and positive tone. You can tell the difference. And if you listen into your own calls, you can hear when you're sounding positive and you're not. Like you said, you hit that kind of 4 o'clock in the afternoon time, you might sound a bit less positive than you did at 9:30 in the morning, or maybe not. But positive language is something that, negative language is something that I think a lot of us do a lot of the time without even thinking about it. And we're not really aware that we're doing it. But there are ways to change that, and there are ways to modify that. And it really does work if you can change something from a negative into a positive. I mean, it's interesting, when you say to somebody, how are you, they often say, not bad. So we're kind of used to downplaying things. I think as a nation, we don't kind of talk things up, we're more likely to talk things down. I'm going to play you a call in a little while, one of the advisors at another centre who happens to be American. Maybe that lends itself more to talking things up. But it'll be quite interesting for us to listen to. But for instance, when you use negative language with children, for instance, it's always totally counterproductive. If you say, has anybody got any kids here? She's nodding. So you know. If you say something like, shut that door, or don't bang that door, rather than close the door quietly, you'll have a far better effect if you actually use language that mirrors what you want people to be. So if you want people to be positive, you have to use positive language to encourage them to actually mirror your positive attitude. It does actually work. It doesn't work with everybody. And we're going to hear somebody in a minute who's very, very difficult. But as I said, it's something that we do without really thinking. Now, some of the characteristics of negative language are things like you're telling people what can't be done. You can't have a grant. You might say, well, I can't change that, but let's just sit with that. You're telling people what can't be done. That's negative language. Another characteristic is it tends to use words like can't, won't, unable. And it's less likely to stress positive actions and outcomes or positive benefits. Flip side of that, which is positive language, it's more likely to tell someone what can be done and suggest alternatives and choices. It's more likely to sound helpful and encouraging rather than bureaucratic. And it is also more likely to stress positive actions that could be taken or benefits that could be anticipated. Now, you'll be aware that one of the things you've been working on is mentioning the benefits of the things that you advise on, and that's part of the reason. You have to, people can't always conceptualise the benefits of things that you're talking about. Loft insulation, cavity wall insulation. They might just think, well, this is a good thing, I've been told it's a good thing, or this is something for free, therefore I want to get it. And even though if they sat down and thought about it, they could work out actually why it is a good thing. Most people don't actually hold that idea in their head, they can't conceptualise it. So you have to paint a little picture for them, which is why we ask you to talk about benefits in terms of things like, you could be saving this amount a year, or it'll pay for itself in this amount of time. What I'd like you to do for the next 5 minutes or so is, there's 2 envelopes here, and there are some negative phrases in the envelope.